The acronym Apparts, or APPARTS, provides you with prompts that give you a method for dissecting and analyzing primary source documents. Once you are comfortable using this strategy, you will have a valuable analytic tool. The purpose of Apparts is to develop skills which will enhance your ability to use primary source documents as evidence in analytic essays. As we review the components of Apparts, we will take a look at Madison's Federalist paper number 10. You will apply these same steps to any document you are analyzing. Step 1 is to look at the author. You should look closely at who authored the piece, who created the source. What is the author's point of view? What do you know about the author that would affect the reliability of the document? Are you aware of any bias the author might possess which would color the account? Make sure that you don't just put the name of the author, but that you answer these other questions. The next step is to identify the place and the time. When and where was the source produced? And how might this affect the meaning of the document? If time and place is not given in the source, are there clues within the document as to the time and place of origin? Again, it isn't enough to just write down the date, but to additionally talk about the time and how that time or place affects the overall document meaning. Your next step is to activate your own prior knowledge. Based on the author and the time and the place of the source, what additional knowledge can you trigger from this document? For example, a political cartoon might have drawings of an elephant and a donkey. Can you determine what those symbols represent using your prior knowledge? For your next step, you'll consider the audience. Who was the source created for? And how might this affect the reliability of the document? How does intended audience affect what is said? For example, we would think that Richard Nixon would say something different to his advisors in the Oval Office concerning the Watergate break-in than he would say to a radio address directed at the American people. For the next step, you'll think about the reason that the document was created. Why was this document produced at the time and the place that it was? Prior knowledge, time and place, author, and audience all factor into your ability to determine the reason. For example, why would Andrew Jackson say, "John Marshall has made his decision, now let him enforce it," in 1832? Your next step is to establish the main idea. What is the point the document is trying to make? It's essential that you be able to synthesize the information in the source and express it in a single sentence or two, rather than simply paraphrase or directly quote the document. Our next step, and perhaps the most important, is to consider the significance of the document. In your class, you might be asked to examine documents relative to a specific question or prompt from your teacher. In the significance component of Apparts, you must ask yourself the question, how and why does this document support my thesis? In other words, so what? What should a student of history or politics take away from this document? Looks like you're ready to begin the Apparts system for yourself. Use the document that your teacher gives you or set up your paper using the 7 main headings of Apparts. Happy reading!